What's that sound? It's a retard alert! We have a retard alert! That's right, people. We have a retard alert. Oh wait, what's this other sound?
Hey guys, what's poppin'?
We are about to get into it tonight, boys and girls. So, the PPP Civil War has begun. The downfall of PPP has begun. The downfall of the Keno Casino has begun, and we shall see it firsthand. And tonight we're going to go over how that happened, how such a successful show could become retard alert, how you could get fucked up like that. I think that this is a very good gag that we'll be keeping around. You know, not everything PPP does is retarded, unlike Andy. But let us go and start from the very beginning. Who was PPP? Well, PPP was some fat ass that started making videos A-logging Ralph, and it went well because Ralph was a piece of shit and people disliked Ralph. So Ralph quickly became disliked, and PPP rose to prominence. PPP then attacked New Project 2, and this was one of his beginning flaws. He attacked Joshua Connor Moon, who is known as Null on the Kiwi Farms. Null is the owner and operator of the Kiwi Farms. He's a very mean person. He will destroy you. He's the final boss of transphobes, all that stuff. And he accused Null of impropriety, of pay for play. Dick Masterson, the LA-based comedian who is a pedophile apologist, went and started having all of his friends on his payment processor getting money, and PPP was saying that the way that they had it set up was a little fucked up. And I don't really know what happened, honestly. I know that Vordrak had that shut down, and that is the extent of my knowledge. I don't know how it got shut down, what actually caused it to be shut down, aside from Vordrak, if there was any impropriety. I don't know of any court case or anything, so I'm not going to talk about that. But after this, PPP was riding high. All of PPP's stars had aligned. Let's get a picture of PPP in here. Okay. All of PPP's stars had aligned. This was, PPP was going to the big leagues. So he started making content with Godwinson. Godwinson is a guy with messed up teeth. He lives on this little island, and he makes good content. PPP makes good content. They both dislike grifters. They dislike people who take money for their audiences for nothing. And they dislike people who, fuck with people for no reason and are hypocrites. So it goes really well. And we're going to read a little scripture, just like PPP would. Judge not, lest ye be judged. For with what ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. So PPP here had been very, against hypocrites. He had been against people taking money for streams, just general content creation. He was against grifters, which is a laudable goal. People who grift their audiences are pretty disgusting. I think we can all agree with that. However, this is when things begin to fall down. Surfer and PPP had a falling out. Surfer was PPP's streaming partner. After that, PPP and Worski decided to make a show together. After a couple shows, they had the Fuck Ralph Festival. Did extremely well. The Keno Casino had shot up, was one of the most popular shows on the late night on YouTube. Thousands of viewers. So then, now what could happen? Well, the problem is that Andy Worski was involved with this project. And there is no project that Andy Worski is involved in that does not crash and burn. They do call him the retarded phoenix for a reason. So Andy Worski, once again, began to be an idiot, and people didn't like that. Andy Worski would pause videos too much. He would talk too much. No one really cared for Worski. People cared for Ashton because Ashton is an interesting person to listen to, and he's funny. Andy Worski is not. The funniest thing that Andy Worski does is cause himself harm on camera. That is the depth and the breadth of Andy's content capabilities. He can do handstands, fall out of his chair, things like that. He's like the Three Stooges, but with none of the talent. So, during this whole time, they have a donation option, and that donation option is called Power Chat. Now, we didn't know this at the time. And when I say we, I mean most of his audience, I'm guessing, because I did not know, and I was watching. Power Chat was owned by Baked Alaska and Lulz. Now, the main benefit of Power Chat is that there's no fees. There's no fees to Power Chat. Well, almost no fees to Power Chat. So instead of with other payment processors where I think with, I think whatever the Russian one they're doing right now, there's like a 20% cut. So 20% extra money is quite a bit when you have to split it two ways. And now all those donators possibly have their information leaked. But, that's just how it rolls. So after, Andy Worski is beginning to be a drain on the audience is not a fan of Andy. I don't think anyone is actually a fan of Andy. We all know that Andy Gaines Enjoyer is just Andy putting through fake donations, just like Ralph. So, what happens? Well, Godwinson hops on the stream. They're going at Flamenco because Flamenco was on before, and Flamenco flat out lied to PPP. So, Flamenco is back in PPP's house. And what is PPP going to do to this lying sack of shit? Well, PPP is going to nail this creepy weirdo to the wall. He's just going to nail him straight there. He's going to have the stigmata and everything after PPP's done. And Godwinson's also nailing this creepy weirdo to the wall. And what does Andy do? Oh, that's bad faith, guys. That's bad faith. That's bad faith. And instead of shutting the fuck up and letting Godwinson and PPP put on a great show, that's bad faith. That's bad faith. You have this retard, this drooling retard, that he's like a roof. And after all the dust has settled, and then a rain comes, and it all goes down the gutters. Andy's mouth is the gutter. And it's just the dirt and the shit, the bird shit, everything from the roof just pouring out of Andy's mouth on this show that actually could be good, but it's not. Because Andy's fucking it up. And the reason that Godwinson was there is because Godwinson was told by PPP that Andy was going to go. Because no one likes Andy. He's a drain on the show now. He's not worth having around. So they were going to replace them with Godwinson, and it was going to be such kino, such nectar. But that was not to be. Because PPP, for some reason, maybe Andy has his family held hostage. I don't know what the reasoning is, but PPP did not get rid of Andy. And so instead of having this new renaissance of content, we are left with this shit, this drivel. And it's very unfortunate. So Godwinson puts out a 45-minute long... Well, no. What next happens is Joshua Connor Moon. This man right here. Bam. This one man walking apocalypse says, I'm still a little pissed off that PPP, fucked with my income. So then what do Andy and PPP do? Oh, they go on the show and they talk about how Josh was seething. And out of Josh's, 2-hour show, he talked about it for 12 minutes. So he was very perturbed. But, if somebody took $2,000 from me, 12 minutes is a little bit less of the time. Like, I'd be flipping my shit. So I think it's very justified. You take $2K from somebody and they talk a little bit about it. It's actually more than $2K if you think about it, because recurring revenue. So they shit on Josh for being upset about this, which he has every right to be upset about this because they stole his money. Well, they didn't steal his money. They took his ability to get money away with this. So fast forward, and what happens? Godwinson comes in with a 45-minute video. Just absolutely smashes everyone's expectations. You know, he's sipping his tea. Oh, smashing. And he destroys PPP. He points out that Worski's a piece of shit. He points out that no one likes Worski. He points out that PPP is now a grifter. He has done exactly what he said he would not do. He has become a hypocrite. The same type of hypocrite that PPP would have shit on in the day. He points out that Andy has total veto power over every subject of the show. He points out that Andy controls the pause button, which he should not, because Andy's an idiot. He points out that, you know, Andy was going to be fired and that he was going to come on with PPP and they were going to make a show. But that has not come to pass. So, after that, Josh, in his good graces on his next show, essentially says, you know, I don't really care. It's not my problem. You know, I've moved on. But that is not enough to stem the bleeding. It does not stop the bleeding. And what happens next? Well, PPP puts out a video called What's Up with Godwinson. And he shows that Godwinson took money, which he said he did in his 45-minute video, to come on. Because apparently, taking money to be on, to do something for, you know, a couple hours, that's not allowed. You're not allowed to charge people for your time. Which, that's not what Godwinson's point was. He was trying to show that Godwinson was a hypocrite for taking money to be on the show, but it's not Godwinson's show. PPP wanted Godwinson on the show. So PPP said, hey, I want you on the show. And Adam said, well, it's not my show, but if you want me there, I'll take some money for it. And so that's what happened. And the video is an absolute shit show. It has Gonzalo Lira talking about what he thinks of Godwinson. And let's read some of the comments. I don't understand what this is supposed to mean. Godwinson spotlights comments being unhappy with the show and some other controversies about payment processors, etc. I think this was maybe a little too inflammatory when criticizing Andy, but it's within reason, considering PPP couldn't dump Andy from the show and have Godwinson on since Andy had the lion's share of ownership despite doing the least work. Why couldn't you just speak directly and openly, PPP? Why can't you be frank about the situation? I don't think Godwinson is being too charitable, but I think you could handle this significantly better, PPP. Not gonna lie, I mainly watch for you. Andy is just an addition. Good foil at first, but over time, he's less and less of the reason why I watch. Once again, why isn't he addressing the concerns that Godwinson laid out? Instead, it's this, oh, well, Godwinson was against grifting, but now he takes money. And he doesn't say that directly, but the video clips he put together are that. And then he's, you know, the Gonzalo Lira clip is, oh, well, Godwinson could be really cool, but he doesn't want, he's afraid. Okay, whatever. Next comment. Man, I'm starting to believe that Persip and Squire really did all of PPP's work for him. Which I think they do. Wow, so Godwinson actually has a real job. You offered him money to be on your show, and per CRP, he's a good-looking guy that comes from money. You guys really got him. Which is true. Not only is Godwinson a good-looking guy, not only does he come from money, but he has an actual job in the real world. And he's, you know, not wasting his time with the internet. Next comment. Godwinson is right. All of the internet, if all of the internet wasn't monetized, it would be better, and it wouldn't, and it won't go back to being unmonetized as it once was, unless some crazy shit happens. Very admirable goal, but an impossible one. Seems like a waste of time to try to push that message. I feel okay. So he's basically agreeing, but he's like, you know, it's not really going to happen. According to CRP, Godwinson is too successful and good-looking, so he can't be against e-grifting. Great video, guys. You really thought this one out. So there's, you know, their response is getting blown the fuck out. And then what happens? Well, Daddy Jim steps into the corner. And Daddy Jim points out, Kino Casino pelted by tomatoes. He's talking about in chat. They were getting tomatoed. Flam ousted by his community, which Flamenco, the creeper, which he is a creeper, and he deserves to be ousted by his community. Ralph is in hiding. Ralph is in a bunker. No one knows where yet. Nick, holding film festivals at Chuck E. Cheese. It's worse than Chuck E. Cheese. Nick Fuentes held a film festival at a underprivileged Mexicans theater. And I'm not joking about that. It was a theater for underprivileged Mexicans. Underserved is the term. Everyone's having a rough week. So then the next the comment he replies to, I still don't understand the Kino Casino thing. People say PPP is ignoring criticism, but he addresses it all the time, saying he's now a shameless grifter and doesn't care who knows it. As for the power chats thing, he stopped using it, and Worski said he didn't think anyone got their details stolen. So, Jim replies, I think the only solution is for PPP and Andy to have a stream and let me ask the hard-hitting questions. And Worski says, all right, Friday good for you. After that, we have Jim saying, hey, I would have preferred tonight, but yeah, Friday works. So we're going to have Jim on, and Jim is probably going to spank them. However, I don't think that we need Jim to spank them. They've already shown that they're idiots. Not just that PPP would have Andy as a co-host, and after chat has essentially turned against him, he will keep him on. And, Andy, coping with the fact that no one likes him and that he is a drain on the show at this point, says, oh, well, PPP, he likes having me around. I don't know. That's not what that's not what he says when he's been streaming with you for a couple hours. So I think that the Kino Casino is not long for this world. And it's unfortunate because this could have been one of the greatest shows that the internet has seen if Godwinson had, joined PPP, and this had become a good show. It could have been a great show. But alas, it will never be. Well, it could be. This is the possible redemption that I spoke about in the beginning. PPP holds the power. He can still get paid, according to Godwinson. All that PPP has to do is get rid of fucking Andy, go to Godwinson, beg on, his gunt that he allows him to make content with him, and we could have some really good fucking content. So I'm hoping that happens because I would love PPP and Godwinson content to once again be flowing. I think that going after BreadTube would be a great idea. I think it would make awesome content. And so that's my thought on this. I wanted to, make a little video encapsulating what was going on. I wanted to show, and here's Godwinson. As you can see, we have PPP in the background and Godwinson in the foreground. Family-friendly content. So yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. I hope that PPP, gets his head on straight. And I hope that we go back to having Kino and Nectar. So have a wonderful night, everyone.